The smell of coffee, grease, and rain mixed in the air of Ladire Eddie's Diner. A lonely stop on Route 66 that stayed open 24 hours a day. Neon lights flickered above the window like a heartbeat, and the sound of country rock hummed from the jukebox. Friday nights were always heavy. Truckers, travelers, locals with nowhere else to go. Emma Brooks was on her second double shift of the week. Her feet hurt, her hands smelled like dish soap, and her apron pocket held exactly $32 in tips. She needed $300 by Sunday to pay her mother's medication. She wiped table 6 for the third time, pretending not to care that her sneakers were falling apart. The bell above the door jingled, and 2 new customers entered, a couple with rain jackets, tired eyes. Normal. Then, as Emma turned to refill a coffee cup, she saw something that made her pause. In the far corner booth, half hidden behind the jukebox, sat a nice little girl, maybe 7 years old. Dark brown hair, soft curls, wearing a white dress that didn't belong in a truck stop diner. Her small hands were folded in her lap. She wasn't eating, wasn't looking around, just staring at the table like she wanted to disappear. Emma frowned. Kids that young never came in alone. She glanced toward the counter where Tina, the night cook, was smoking near the window. "Hey Tina, that little girl with the dress, you know who she's with?" Tina looked up, squinting through the haze. "Didn't see her come in. Maybe she's waiting for someone." Emma walked closer, soft voice, gentle smile. "Hey sweetie, you okay? You waiting for your parents?" The girl lifted her eyes just for a second, deep brown, full of fear. Then she looked back down and didn't speak. "Are you hungry? I can bring you some fries. No charge," Emma offered. No answer. The girl's shoulders trembled. Emma's gut told her something was wrong. She was about to go to the counter to call the sheriff when the door swung open. So hard the bell cracked against the frame. 2 men walked in. They weren't locals. Jeans, leather jackets, faces hard as stone. The kind of men who brought trouble wherever they went. The taller one scanned the room slowly, eyes cold, calculating. Then his gaze locked on the little girl. The shorter man muttered, "Found her." Emma's stomach twisted. The men walked straight toward the booth. Conversation stopped. Even the jukebox seemed to fade. The taller man leaned over the table. "Time to go, kid. Your old man's waiting." The girl went stiff. She didn't move, didn't breathe. Her small hands clutched the edge of the table. "Come on," the second man growled, reaching for her arm. That's when Emma saw it. A gun, tucked under his jacket. Her body moved before her mind caught up. She stepped in front of the booth, blocking their path. "Excuse me, is there a problem?" The taller man's voice was a low warning. "Back off, lady, this isn't your business." "She's sitting at my table. That makes it my business." The entire diner froze. Forks halfway to mouths. Nobody dared move. The man's hand hovered near his jacket. "Move, or you'll regret it." Emma looked at the girl. "Do you want to go with them?" The girl shook her head, small, terrified. That was enough. "Then she's not going anywhere." For a heartbeat, everything was still. Then chaos. The shorter man lunged forward. Emma grabbed the girl's hand and pulled her out of the booth. "Tina, call 911, she shouted. The men shouted back, and someone screamed. A chair fell. A window shattered. Emma ran toward the back kitchen, dragging the child behind her. Grease smoke filled the air. Pots clattered to the floor. "In here," she whispered, shoving the girl into the pantry and locking the heavy door. Outside, footsteps thundered closer. One of the men kicked the door once, wood splintered. Emma held the child tight. "It's okay, I've got you. Don't make a sound." The girl buried her face in Emma's apron, silent tears soaking the fabric. Then came the sound of engines. Several of them. Deep, loud, angry. The kind of engines that shook the ground. The gunman cursed. "Damn it, they're here." Emma didn't understand what that meant until she heard the door crash open. Not the pantry, the diner's front door. Voices filled the space, rough, commanding, military-like. "Check the left. Get eyes on the kid. Move, move, move." Emma held her breath. Heavy boots stopped right outside the pantry. Then a voice. Low, steady, dangerous. "Open this door." She stayed silent. "Lady," the voice said again, sharper now. "Open the damn door before my men tear it off." Emma's arms tightened around the child. "Go away," she said. A pause. Then, softly, she heard the girl whisper the first word she'd spoken since Emma found her. "Daddy." Emma's eyes widened. The lock twisted from the other side. The door swung open, flooding the pantry with light. In the doorway stood a man built like a storm. Leather cuta. Black t-shirt, arms tattooed to the wrists, tall, dark beard, and eyes so intense Emma forgot to breathe. Behind him, half a dozen bikers in the same leather vests spread out, weapons ready. The little girl slipped from Emma's arms and ran to him. "Daddy!" she cried. He dropped to one knee, scooping her up, scanning her for bruises, his big hands shaking slightly. "Lily, are you hurt?" She shook her head, still clinging to his neck. Emma stepped back, trying to understand. The men who'd stormed in weren't cops. They were bikers, armed and organized. The leader, the girl's father, was clearly in charge. He looked up, eyes locking on Emma. "You?" Emma froze. "I didn't do anything wrong. Those men were after my daughter," he finished, voice deep as thunder. "And you got between them and her." One of the bikers approached, whispering something in his ear. "Boss, 2 dead outside. Serpent colors." The man's jaw tightened. "Get the bodies off my property. No cops." Emma's heart pounded. "Who are you people?" He ignored the question. His gaze stayed fixed on her. "What's your name?" "Emma. Emma Brooks." He nodded once, like he'd just filed her entire life into a folder in his mind. "You work here?" "Yes. Please, I was just trying to help." "You saved my daughter," he cut in. "That makes you part of this now." "Part of what?" He stood, holding Lily in one arm as easily as if she weighed nothing. "The Iron Vipers." Emma blinked. She'd heard the name on the news, an outlaw motorcycle club with a violent reputation. "I don't want any trouble," she said. "Just let me go home." The man's eyes softened just barely when he looked at his daughter. "She hasn't spoken in 3 years," he said quietly. "Not since her mother died. But she talked tonight. For you." Lily hid her face against his shoulder, whispering, "Don't hurt her, Daddy, please." The biker exhaled slowly, almost like that single plea pierced through his armor. He turned to his men. "Pack it up. We're leaving." Emma's breath caught. "Leaving where?" "With us." She stepped back. "No, you can't." "It's not a request," he said. "My daughter trusts you, and that's rare. You stay where I can see you until I figure out who came for her and why." The biker with the scar on his cheek, clearly his right hand, took Emma's arm, firm, but not rough. "Boss, what about the cops?" the man asked. The leader looked around the destroyed diner, the broken glass, the terrified faces of the few customers who hadn't fled. "By the time they get here, we're ghosts." He turned to Emma one last time. "You got any family waiting for you tonight?" She swallowed. "Just my mom. She's sick. I'll have one of my guys call her. Tell her you're safe." Emma's heart hammered. "Who are you?" He finally gave his name. Cole Walker, president of the Iron Vipers MC. Outside, engines roared again, lighting up the parking lot with headlamps. Cole carried his daughter toward a line of black motorcycles and 2 SUVs. Rain started to fall, light, cold, steady. The scarred biker guided Emma forward. She hesitated at the door, looking back at the diner, her old life, the spilled coffee, the broken glass, the quiet job that had just ended forever. Then she looked at the man in front of her, the little girl clutching his neck and knew she didn't have a choice. As the engines roared to life and the convoy pulled onto the dark highway, Emma pressed her forehead against the window and whispered to herself, "What did I just get into?" Outside, lightning split the sky over the desert, and somewhere deep down, she knew this wasn't the end of the danger. It was only the beginning. The ride to the compound felt like being carried away from her old life by thunder. Emma sat in the back seat of the SUV, hands tied in front only because she'd begged, not because they trusted her. The window was tinted so dark she could barely see the desert rolling by. Up ahead, a line of bikes rode in formation, engines deep and steady, 2 by 2, like soldiers. Every few seconds, red brake lights glowed through the rain. In the front passenger seat, Cole Walker held his daughter Lily on his lap. He didn't let go of her once, not even to answer the phone. He spoke on speaker, voice low and controlled. "Yeah, 2 down outside the diner. Serpent colors, no cops, clean it up." A voice on the other end answered fast. "Copy that, Prez. Make sure nobody touches the waitress's car. We'll pick it up later. I don't want her family thinking she disappeared." Emma stared at him. Even in the dim interior light, he looked dangerous. Not wild dangerous, calculated dangerous. The kind of man who always had a plan, who expected to be obeyed. His Cuda had the club's patch on the back, Iron Vipers MC Arizona. There were side patches too. President, Original 7. He noticed her watching. "Seatbelt," he said. "It's already on," she muttered. "For her." He nodded down at Lily. "Always buckle her, even if it's just across the street." That part didn't sound like a biker. That sounded like a dad. Lily was quiet again now, pressed against his chest, fingers twisted in his shirt. But her eyes kept flicking toward Emma like she needed to make sure she was still there. Emma spoke softly. "Hey, Lily, you okay?" Lily didn't answer, but her hand opened and closed once, like a little wave. Cole saw it. "She doesn't do that with anyone," he said. "Not since, well, not since a long time." "What happened to her?" Emma asked before she could stop herself. He gave her a look that said he wasn't used to being questioned. "Her mother died. She saw more than a kid should see." She shut down. "I'm sorry," Emma said. He shrugged one shoulder. "Sorry doesn't change it." The SUV turned off the highway onto a dirt road. A metal gate slid open ahead. Floodlights came on. The bikes rolled through first, engines echoing off metal buildings. The place looked like a mix of ranch, garage, and small military post. High fence, cameras, dogs, bikes everywhere, some stripped apart, some shining like new. The SUV stopped in front of the main building, long, low, with a wide porch and the club's skull and viper emblem over the door. The scarred biker, the one from the diner, opened Emma's door. "Out." "What's your name?" she asked, climbing out carefully. "Luca," he said. "I'm the VP. Means I tell them what the boss tells me to tell them." "So you're the one I should beg for mercy?" He almost smiled. "No, that would still be him." Cole stepped out with Lily on his arm. The other bikers fanned out, talking into radios, checking the perimeter. 2 women came from the house, both in jeans, one older with gray hair and a bun, the other younger, blonde, carrying a blanket. The older one gasped. "Lily, sweetheart." She held out her arms, but Lily turned her face away, pressing into her father's shoulder. "She's fine, Maria," Cole said. "Just scared." Maria's eyes moved to Emma, suspicion. "Who is this?" "The reason Lily's still breathing," Cole said. "And the reason she spoke." That made everyone stop. The blonde woman blinked. "She talked?" Cole shifted his daughter so she faced him. "Say it again, princess. Tell me what you told me in the pantry." Lily looked at Emma, then at her dad. Her lips trembled. No sound came out. Cole didn't push. He kissed her hair instead. "It's okay. You're safe." He turned to Luca. "Get them inside. Lock it down." I want eyes on the perimeter, north and south. Nobody in or out without me knowing. Luca nodded and started barking orders. Emma followed them up the porch steps. Inside, the clubhouse smelled like leather, wood, motor oil, and food. To the right was the common room. Pool tables, bar, TV on the wall, patches and pictures framed everywhere. To the left, a hallway led to bedrooms. There were photos on the wall of club runs, bike parades, barbecues. In a lot of them, Cole had a woman beside him, beautiful, dark-haired, laughing. Lily was a toddler in those pictures. That must have been the mom. Maria noticed Emma looking. That was Isabella, she said quietly. Lily's mother. She was pretty, Emma said. She was good, Maria corrected. Too good for this life. Cole heard them. His jaw tightened. Office now. They went into a room with a long table, maps on the wall, security screens showing every angle of the property. This was not just a bar for men with bikes. This was a base. Cole put Lily down on a couch and handed her a tablet. Stay here with Maria. Lily grabbed Emma's sleeve. Cole looked at that small hand on a stranger and couldn't hide the shock in his eyes. Fine, he said. She stays. Maria didn't like that. Cole, we don't know this girl. For all we know, For all we know, he cut in. She threw herself in front of 2 armed men for my kid. That's more than I can say for half the people we pay. His eyes went to Emma. Sit. Emma sat. Luca closed the door. Cole leaned on the table, hands flat, eyes on her. Okay, Emma Brooks. You work at Eddie's Diner. You live in town? Yeah. Little apartment over the laundromat. Family? My mom. Hospital sometimes home. Heart problems. She swallowed. Please don't scare her. You think I go around scaring old ladies? He asked. Honestly, I don't know what you do. He took out his phone, tapped fast, then put it to his ear. Java. It's Cole. I need you to call this number. He read Emma's mother's phone. Tell her Emma's with me, she's safe, she's helping with something, and she'll call her soon. Make it sound calm. He hung up without waiting for an answer. Done. You could have just let me call her, Emma said. You could have just let those men take my daughter, he shot back. But you didn't, and I don't know why. Because she was scared, Emma said, heat in her voice. Because she shook her head. Because I was that girl once. That made him pause. Just a second. Your dad walked out? Didn't just walk out. Left us with nothing. She lifted her chin. I know what it's like when nobody steps in. Cole stared at her. Then he nodded slowly, like something clicked. Okay. That explains why you got in the way. Doesn't explain why she spoke. Emma glanced at Lily. I didn't grab her, I asked her. I let her decide. Maybe nobody's done that for a while. Maria looked at Cole. She has a point. Luca ignored the domestic part and got to business. Prez, we got cameras from the diner parking lot. The 2 that came inside were Serpent Muscle. The van that dropped them was stolen. They knew the kid was there. So, the question is, Cole said, how? He turned the screen so Emma could see. It showed the diner, the street, the empty desert. We have maybe 4 people who knew Lily was there, he said. Me, Maria, Luca, and the guy at the garage who checked my bike before I took her. That's it. Emma blinked. Why was she alone in the diner then? She wasn't supposed to be alone, Maria said fast, ashamed. I was in the car. I just ran in to get the food. 2 minutes. Luca added. They were watching you, waiting for a window. So someone is watching this place, Emma said. Someone close. Exactly. Cole's voice dropped. Which is why you don't leave. I have to work, Emma said. I have bills. You'll get paid, he said. More than Eddie ever paid you. You stay here. You stay near Lily. We keep you both alive until I find who's selling us out. Why me? She asked. You have like 20 people here. She knows them. She doesn't talk to them, Cole said. She talked to you. That's rare. That's gold. I'm not letting that disappear. Emma looked at Lily. The girl was drawing on the tablet now. Blue circles, yellow lines. She looked normal, safe, like a kid. Okay, Emma said quietly. I'll stay. For her. Cole's eyes softened. Good. But hear me, Emma added, leaning forward. If you yell at her or bark orders at her like she's one of your guys, she'll shut down again. He stared at her like he couldn't believe she was telling him how to parent. I protect what's mine, he said. You cage what's yours, Emma said. That's not the same thing. Luca let out a low whistle. She's got a mouth. Cole didn't smile. Not really. But a corner of his mouth twitched. You'll find I don't like being told I'm wrong. You'll find I don't like kids being scared, Emma shot back. Before he could reply, someone knocked hard. Prez. Yeah? The door opened and... Ryder. One of the younger bikers came in with a tablet. Pulled the diner's outside audio. You should hear this. He hit play. Static. Then the voice of one of the attackers. Grab the kid fast. The boss wants leverage on the Viper's Prez. We only got a small window. The tracker says she's inside. Cole's eyes turned to ice. Tracker? Ryder nodded. We scanned her jacket, nothing, so... He looked at Lily. Cole's whole body tensed. No. Emma was already moving. Lily, honey, can I see your hair tie? Lily looked confused but handed it over. Emma turned it in her fingers, and there it was. A tiny metal piece inside the elastic, not from the store. It's here, Emma said. Someone put it on her. Maria gasped. I did her hair before she left. Not you, Cole said. You wouldn't. Emma swallowed. Someone had access to her room. Someone inside. Luca cursed. We got a rat. Cole stood up, full height, president mode. Then we flush him out. He pointed at Emma. You don't go anywhere without one of us. Bathroom, kitchen, I don't care. Until I know who's been telling the serpents where my daughter is, you're under Iron Viper's protection. I didn't ask for protection, Emma said. You got it anyway. He walked to the door, then stopped and looked back at her. And Emma? Yeah? If they came after her once, they'll try again. This time they'll know your face too. His eyes were dead serious. That means if you walk out now, you die alone. If you stay here, at least you got a dozen armed bikers between you and the bad guys. That was the most honest thing anyone had said to her in a long time. She nodded once. Then I stay. Cole opened the door. Good, because whoever sold us out is still in this house. He stepped out to call church, his officers already gathering. Inside, Emma sat beside Lily on the couch. The little girl scooted closer and leaned her head on Emma's arm like she'd been doing it her whole life. Emma looked toward the hallway where the bikers were meeting and wondered the one question nobody had answered yet. If the enemy knew where the girl was, how long until they tried again? Morning sunlight cut through the blinds of the Iron Viper's clubhouse, streaking the wooden floor with pale gold. It should have looked peaceful, but nothing inside those walls ever really was. Emma woke to the low hum of engines outside, and voices trading commands. She'd slept on a leather couch in the lounge, still in her uniform from the diner. The night had been long, guards rotating shifts, radios crackling, a constant reminder that she was now living in the middle of danger. From across the room came a soft sound. Hi, a small voice said. Emma blinked, sitting up fast. Lily stood there barefoot, holding a stuffed dog with one missing ear. Her hair was a little messy, and for the first time she was smiling. Small, shy, but real. Morning, sweetheart, Emma said softly. Did you sleep okay? Lily nodded. That nod, that one tiny, brave motion, was enough to make Emma forget the fear of being trapped in a biker fortress. The girl who wouldn't talk was trying again. Before Emma could say more, Maria entered, carrying pancakes and orange juice. She froze when she saw Lily standing so close to Emma. Well, I'll be, Maria whispered. She hasn't left her room in weeks. Emma knelt beside Lily. You like pancakes? Lily smiled wider. Maria's eyes softened. She likes them with blueberries. Her mom used to make them that way. The mention of her mother made Lily's expression flicker, a quick shadow crossing the light. Emma caught it. She didn't push. She just said, "Then we'll make some together next time, huh?" That seemed to calm her. Lily nodded again. Outside, Cole was already in the yard, shirt off, fixing a Harley with Luca. The president of the Iron Vipers looked like a man made of steel and gasoline, but when he glanced toward the window and saw Lily laughing, actually laughing, he froze. Luca noticed. You okay, boss? Cole didn't answer. His eyes stayed locked on the window. She's smiling. Kid? Yeah, haven't seen that in years. Luca grinned. Guess the waitress is some kind of miracle worker. Cole's jaw tightened. Or she's a distraction we didn't plan for. You think she's playing us? I think I don't trust coincidences. Still, he couldn't look away. His daughter's little hand waved from behind the glass. For the first time in 3 years, she wasn't afraid of daylight. By noon, Emma was helping Lily water the plants near the garage. The sound of revving engines filled the air as the men tested bikes. Lily covered her ears at first, then peeked between her fingers. Too loud? Emma asked. Lily hesitated. Then she whispered, Not bad. Emma smiled. You like bikes? The little girl nodded again. Mom, liked. It was the first full word Emma had heard from her that morning. She didn't react too strongly, didn't want to scare her back into silence, but her eyes glistened. That's beautiful, Emma said. You want to see them closer? They walked toward the line of motorcycles. Luca spotted them first and waved. Hey, sunshine, you riding yet? Lily giggled, shaking her head. Cole came over, wiping oil from his hands. Stay back from the pipes, they're hot, he told them. Yes, sir, Emma said with a hint of sarcasm. He frowned. Not sir, just Cole. Then don't bark orders like a drill sergeant, Cole. Luca coughed, trying to hide a laugh. Cole shot him a glare that said, Don't push it. Emma crouched beside Lily. See? He's not that scary. Cole raised an eyebrow. Don't teach her that. Why not? She's a kid, not one of your men. That time even Cole almost smiled. Later that afternoon, as Lily napped, Emma explored the clubhouse a bit more. She found photos of the club's history, dusty frames of charity rides, food drives, and small-town fairs. It wasn't all chaos and crime, at least not once. Maria found her looking. They used to help people, the older woman said quietly. Cole's father started this club to protect the small towns around here, but when Isabella died, everything changed. His wife? Maria nodded. She was caught in an ambush meant for him. He's blamed himself ever since. Pulled Lily off the grid, built walls instead of roads. Emma's heart ached. That's no way for a child to live. Maria sighed. Try telling him that. By sunset, a storm rolled in from the desert. Dark clouds, thunder, the kind that makes engines sound small. Emma sat by the window, reading to Lily from an old book she found in the common room. The girl leaned close, eyes heavy but calm. When lightning flashed, she didn't flinch, just pressed closer. Cole entered quietly, leaning on the doorframe. He didn't speak until Emma looked up. She's not afraid anymore, he said. She feels safe, Emma replied. That's what kids need more than protection. They need safety. He frowned. You think those are different? Yes, Emma said. Protection is keeping her alive. Safety is letting her live. For a moment, the tough biker president didn't have an answer. Then the radio on his belt crackled. Prez, movement on the ridge, 2 dirt bikes, no plates. Cole straightened. Lock it down, eyes on the girl. He was out the door in seconds, barking orders. The mood changed instantly. Bikers grabbing rifles, engines roaring to life, floodlights flicking on around the perimeter. Maria rushed in. "Get Lily inside the back room." Emma scooped Lily up and ran. She could hear the chaos outside, the sharp click of safeties, the crunch of boots in gravel. Inside the small back room, she knelt by the window, heart racing. "It's okay, sweetheart. They're just making sure everyone's safe." Lily's small hands shook. "Bad guys? Maybe just people lost," Emma said softly, even though she wasn't sure. Outside, a gunshot cracked through the night. Then another. Emma held Lily tighter. "Don't look, baby. Just stay with me." The radio buzzed again, muffled voices shouting over the storm. "They're testing us, boss, just a warning." Minutes later, the thunder of engines retreated into the desert. Cole came back, wet from rain, furious. "They weren't guessing," he said to Luca. "They knew exactly where to find the ridge cameras. Somebody told them." He turned to Emma. "You two okay?" She nodded. "We're fine. She got scared, but she's brave." Lily looked up at him, trembling. "Daddy." That single word hit the room like a shockwave. Cole froze. "What did you say?" "Daddy," she whispered again. Emma smiled through tears. "She's talking to you." For a long moment, Cole couldn't move. He just stared at his daughter, at the woman who'd somehow brought her back to life. Then he knelt down, pulling both of them into his arms, his daughter and the stranger who had changed everything. That night, when the storm finally broke and the compound went quiet again, Cole stood alone outside, rain dripping from his hair. Luca came up beside him. "What now?" "We find who's feeding the serpents our location," Cole said, "and we make it stop." He looked back toward the house where his daughter slept safely beside Emma. "Until then," he added, voice low and final, "they don't leave my sight." The next morning began calm, the kind of calm that tricks you before the storm hits. The sun painted the Arizona desert gold, the bikes lined up in perfect formation outside the Iron Viper's compound. The air smelled of fuel and dust. Cole stood near the garage wearing a black shirt, sunglasses, and that familiar leather kuta that carried weight more than style. Beside him, Emma adjusted Lily's little backpack. "Therapy day," Cole said flatly. "Town's only 40 minutes away. You ride with Lily and Maria in the SUV. I'll follow with 2 bikes." Emma frowned. "Do you really think it's safe, after last night?" Cole looked her in the eyes. "No, that's why I'm going." She nodded, helping Lily into the back seat. The girl was quiet but alert, clutching her stuffed dog and looking out the window. She had spoken 2 full sentences that morning. Progress Cole couldn't ignore. "Seatbelt," Cole reminded again. Emma smirked. "Already done, Sergeant." He shook his head, trying not to smile. "Keep that tone, Brooks, and I might start liking you." "Can't have that," she teased, shutting the door. The convoy moved out, the SUV in the center, 2 Harleys in front, 2 in back, Cole riding point. Dust rose behind them as they cut across long, empty roads. Lily hummed quietly, tracing shapes on the fogged window. Emma watched her. "You okay, sweetheart?" "Scared," Lily admitted softly. Emma reached across the seat and held her hand. "That's brave to say. Scared doesn't mean weak. It means you still care." Maria smiled from the driver's seat. "You talk like a therapist yourself." Emma shrugged. "Just been scared enough times to know how it feels." Ahead, Cole's voice came through the radio. "Stay tight, we take the back road near Ridgeway, avoid Main Street." "Copy that," Luca replied from the tailbike. The desert stretched endless and silent. Nothing but wind, sand, and heat mirages, until a black pickup truck appeared in the distance, parked sideways across the narrow road. "Probably just broke down," Maria said. Cole's voice snapped through the radio. "Hold position." Emma felt the tension rise in her throat. 2 men were standing by the truck pretending to check the hood, but their posture wasn't casual. One kept glancing back toward the SUV. Cole revved his bike once, loud, a warning. The men didn't move. Then Emma saw it. A glint of metal in one man's hand. "Gun!" she screamed. Everything exploded at once. Cole dropped his bike sideways, using it as cover, and fired first. The windshield of the truck shattered. Bullets ripped into the desert air. The bikers behind the SUV fanned out, returning fire. "Get down!" Maria shouted, pushing Emma and Lily to the floorboards. The sound of gunfire was deafening, sharp, echoing through the canyon walls. Lily screamed, covering her ears. Emma threw herself over the child. "It's okay, I've got you." Outside, one of the Vipers went down, shoulder hit, rolling behind a dune. Cole cursed, running low, reloading fast. "Move the SUV," he barked into the radio. Maria floored it, swerving off the road onto the dirt. Bullets cracked the rear glass, spiderwebbing it. Emma held Lily tight, heart pounding so hard she thought her chest would burst. Then another vehicle appeared behind them, a van kicking up dust. More serpents. "Cole, we're boxed in," Luca yelled through static. Cole sprinted to his bike, fired 3 rounds into the van's windshield, buying seconds. "Get the girl out of the line," he shouted. Emma spotted a side trail, a small dry riverbed. "Maria, there." They swerved hard, bouncing over rocks, scraping metal. The van followed, spraying bullets. One pierced the rear door. Emma felt it graze her arm. Pain burned hot, but she didn't stop. She wrapped herself tighter around Lily. Cole's bike cut in front of the van, rear wheel spinning gravel. He fired point blank into the driver's side. The van skidded, flipped twice, and landed upside down in a plume of dust. Silence. Then the ticking sound of cooling metal. Emma looked up. Cole was standing in the middle of the dirt road, chest rising and falling, weapons still ready. Luca rode up beside him, checking the horizon. "All clear." Cole ran to the SUV, yanked the door open. "You two okay?" Lily was crying, shaking, but unhurt. Emma's sleeve was soaked with blood, but she forced a smile. "Just a scratch." Cole's jaw clenched. "You call this a scratch?" "It's fine," she said. "She's fine." He knelt, his large hand trembling as it brushed Lily's hair back. "You did good, Princess, you hear me? You're safe." She looked up at him, eyes full of tears. "Don't be mad at Emma. She saved me again." Cole froze. Those words hit him harder than any bullet could. Slowly, he looked at Emma. "She talked?" Emma nodded, tears mixing with dirt on her face. "She did." Luca gave a low whistle. "Kid's got guts." Cole swallowed hard, voice rough. "Let's go. We're done for today." Back at the compound, the mood was heavy. The men were patching up bikes and bullet holes. The medic cleaned Emma's arm. She tried not to wince. Cole watched silently from the doorway. "You don't have to stare," she said. "I'm not made of glass." "I've seen people break easier," he replied. "Not me," she said, smirking faintly. He sat across from her, elbows on knees. "You could have died out there." "So could you." "Yeah," he said, "but I'm used to it." "Maybe that's the problem," she said quietly. He leaned forward. "You think you know this life?" "No," she said. "But I know what fear does to kids. I know what losing someone does. And you're teaching her that this is normal. Running, hiding, bullets. It's not." He didn't argue right away. He just stared at her, eyes unreadable. Then he said, "You think I want this for her? You think I don't wake up every night hearing my wife scream?" Emma's voice softened. "Then stop living like the war never ended." For a long time, there was silence. Only the faint sound of engines outside. Finally, Cole spoke again. "I made a promise to Isabella before she died, that I'd keep our daughter safe, no matter what it cost. I didn't realize that might mean keeping her from everyone who could help her." Emma's eyes filled. "You don't have to do it alone." He looked at her, really looked this time, not as a stranger, not as a problem, but as someone who had risked her life twice for his daughter. "You're different," he said quietly. "People don't stand in front of guns for others anymore." "Maybe you've been around the wrong people," she said softly. Cole's radio crackled again. "Prez, you better hear this," Luca's voice said. Cole took the device. "Go. The Serpent's leader, Jace, he's not running. He's regrouping. And we found something in one of the bodies from the ambush. A phone. Text thread says, 'The Waitress stays close to the girl. Easier this way.'" Cole's blood ran cold. "They know her name?" "Yeah, Emma Brooks." Emma's stomach dropped. "They're watching me?" Cole stood. "Not anymore." He turned to Luca on the radio. "Tighten security. No one leaves the compound. And I mean no one." He looked at Emma. "They think using you makes it easier. They're wrong. From now on, you don't go anywhere without me or Luca." "That's not a request," he cut in, firm but calm. "They came for my daughter. Now they're coming for you too." Emma looked down at her bandaged arm, then at Lily playing quietly with Maria by the couch. She nodded slowly. "Then we fight together." Cole's expression softened. "Welcome to the family, Brooks." That night, the Iron Viper's compound glowed under floodlights, engines silent for once. But every man was armed, every radio on standby, because they all knew the same thing. The enemy wasn't gone. It was already inside the walls. By dawn, the Iron Viper's compound was on edge. No one laughed. No one lingered near the fire pit. The men spoke in short, sharp words, their hands never far from their weapons. The night after the ambush had changed everything. Cole hadn't slept. He'd spent hours replaying the gunfight in his mind. Each bullet, each scream, each moment Lily could have died. Again. But what kept him awake most was that phone they'd found. The messages. "The Waitress stays close to the girl. Makes it easier." Whoever had sent that wasn't outside the fence, they were inside. In the clubhouse kitchen, Emma was making coffee when Maria entered, tying her apron. She tried to smile, but her eyes looked tired. "You should be resting," Maria said. Emma poured 2 mugs. "Can't. My brain's louder than the engines out there." Maria took a cup, sitting at the counter. "That's normal here. Worry runs on gasoline." Emma smiled faintly. "You've been here a long time?" "Since before Lily was born. I was Isabella's friend. Helped her raise the baby when Cole was always on the road." Emma hesitated. "You love that girl?" "With everything I have." Maria's hand trembled slightly as she lifted the mug. "That child is my heart." There was something in her tone, love but also guilt, that made Emma look closer. Before she could ask more, Lily ran in, hair messy, still in pajamas. "Emma, pancakes?" she asked, voice bright. Emma smiled. "Of course, sweet girl. Go wash up." Maria froze, eyes wide. She talked again. Emma nodded proudly. "She's getting stronger." For a moment, Maria's eyes filled with tears. She turned away, pretending to stir the batter. Later that morning, Cole gathered his officers in the chapel, the club's meeting room. Long table, candles, and a single gavel with the club patch burned into the wood. Luca closed the doors. "All right, Prez, we're all here." Cole looked at the faces, men who'd ridden with him for 10 years, men he'd trusted with his life. One of them was feeding his enemies. He placed the recovered phone on the table. "This came off a serpent who tried to kill my kid." He pressed play on a recorded message. "Trackers on the hair tie. Next run, therapy appointment, confirmed she'll be with the Waitress." Luca cursed under his breath. They knew everything. Cole's voice was cold. "We've got a rat. I want it flushed before sunset." Ryder asked, "You got a plan?" Cole nodded. "We'll set a fake transport. Make it sound like Lily's leaving tomorrow. Only a few people will hear it. If the serpents show up, we'll know who leaked it." Luca smirked. "Classic bait." "Exactly," Cole said. "And until then, no one tells anyone. Not even family." That afternoon, Emma noticed Cole pacing near the porch, phone in hand, restless. She walked over, holding a towel where her arm wound was still healing. "You're thinking too loud," she said softly. He exhaled. Every man in that room swore he'd die for this club. One of them's lying. You'll find out who, she said. I always do, he said grimly. But this one's different. This one knows my house, my daughter. You. Emma froze. You think they'll come for me again? I don't think, he said. I know. That night, the plan went into motion. Cole, accidentally, spoke loud enough in the common room for a few people to overhear. We leave at 9 tomorrow morning, taking Lily and Emma to the safe ranch. He made sure Maria was nearby, folding laundry, like always. Then they waited. At dawn, the scouts reported movement. A group of bikes and trucks headed straight for the safe ranch. Cole slammed his fist on the table. They bit. He looked at Luca. Trace every phone from last night. Luca's eyes widened at the screen. There, a burner call, 2:17 a.m., from inside the compound. Cole's voice dropped low. Who? Luca turned the screen around. Maria. The room went silent. Cole's face drained of color. No, that can't be right. Ryder shook his head. Prez, I checked twice. It's her number. Cole stormed out of the room, heart pounding, rage and disbelief twisting together. He found Maria in the kitchen, humming softly while Lily ate cereal. Maria, he said, voice like gravel. She looked up. Morning, Cole. Where were you at 2 a.m.? She froze. Sleeping. Try again. He threw the printed call log onto the counter. Maria's hands shook. Cole, please. Tell me it's wrong, he said, stepping closer. Tell me you didn't sell my daughter's location. Lily looked between them, confused, frightened. Daddy. Emma rushed in, kneeling by the girl. It's okay, baby. Go with Ryder outside. When Lily was gone, Maria broke. Tears streamed down her face. They have my grandson. Cole's fury faltered. What? They took him last month. The serpents. Said if I didn't help them, they'd kill him. I only told them small things at first. Where you rode, when you left. I thought it wouldn't matter. And the diner? He asked, voice low. Maria sobbed harder. I told them you were stopping there that night. I didn't know they'd try to take her. I swear I didn't. Luca appeared in the doorway, gun drawn. She sold us out, Prez. Club rules say she's out bad. Emma stepped between them. Stop. She's not the enemy. She's another victim. They forced her. She gave them a target on a kid, Luca growled. You know what that means. Cole stood still, torn between law and heart. His club demanded punishment, but this was the woman who'd cared for Lily since birth. She's family, Emma said, and families protect. They don't destroy. Cole's eyes burned. You don't know what happens when you show mercy in this world, Brooks. Maybe that's why your world keeps breaking, she shot back. For a long moment, nobody breathed. Then Ryder burst in. Prez, it's too late. They're coming. Trucks, 6 of them, full of serpents. They know about the compound. Cole spun toward Maria. Did you tell them? Maria shook her head desperately. No, I swear, I didn't. They're coming, boss, Ryder shouted. Cole turned to Luca. Get everyone ready. Lock the gates. He grabbed Emma's arm. You take Lily and go to the safe room. Now. Emma's pulse spiked. What about you? I'll hold them off, he said. But if they get through, you protect her, no matter what it takes. Emma swallowed hard. I won't let anything happen to her. He nodded once. I know. The engines grew louder. Dust clouds rose on the horizon. Inside the safe room, Emma pulled Lily close, trying to calm her heartbeat. The little girl clung to her, whispering, Don't leave me, Emma. Never, she promised. Outside, gunfire erupted, sharp, endless. The iron vipers roared into battle. Cole's voice shouted orders through the chaos. Keep the north wall. Don't let them breach the door. For the first time, Emma understood what being one of them meant. Not the patches or the bikes, but the willingness to bleed for someone else. Then a deafening explosion shook the walls. The lights flickered out. Lily screamed. Emma hugged her tight as dust rained from the ceiling. It's okay, baby. I'm here. Through the static of the radio, Cole's voice came through, broken, desperate. Emma, get her out if you can. They're inside. The walls shook like thunder. The serpents had breached the main gate, and the Iron Viper's compound, once a fortress, was now a battlefield. Smoke rolled through the hallways, the smell of oil and gunpowder thick in the air. Emma crouched behind a heavy cabinet in the safe room, holding Lily close against her chest. The child trembled, her small hands gripping Emma's shirt. The lights flickered, and the sound of gunfire grew closer. Outside, the roar of engines and shouts collided into chaos. North wall breached, someone yelled. Cover the prez, another answered. Emma tried to breathe quietly. We'll be okay, she whispered into Lily's hair. Your dad's out there, he'll find us. Lily's voice was barely audible. Emma, are they gonna hurt him? Emma shook her head firmly. No, he's the strongest man I've ever seen. Outside the safe room, Cole ducked behind a truck, firing at the serpents pushing through the yard. Bullets cracked through metal. Luca was beside him, reloading fast. Too many of them, Luca shouted. Hold the damn line, Cole barked. A grenade exploded near the garage, knocking both men back. Cole coughed through the smoke, ears ringing. He looked up and saw serpents rushing toward the main house, toward the safe room. Lily! He jumped onto his bike, engine screaming, and sped across the yard, sliding through debris. The world blurred, smoke, blood, and fury, until all he saw was the door that separated him from his daughter. Inside the safe room, Emma heard heavy boots in the hall, not the familiar rhythm of Vipers, slower, heavier, deliberate. She held Lily tighter, whispering, Don't make a sound. The doorknob turned once, then twice. Emma grabbed the small pistol Cole had left by the desk and aimed it with shaking hands. The door burst open, and for a second her heart stopped. Standing there was Maria. Her hair was messy, eyes wide, hands trembling. Maria? Emma gasped. What are you doing? You shouldn't be here. Maria's face was pale. They have my grandson on the radio. They said if I don't bring the girl out, they'll kill him right now. Emma stepped between her and Lily. No, you're not giving her to them. You know they'll kill you both, Maria sobbed. I can't lose him, Emma. He's all I have left. Then trust me, Emma said, voice breaking but steady. Cole's men are already trying to save him, but if you do this, there's no coming back. Maria hesitated. The gun in her hand shook. She looked at Lily, innocent, crying, whispering her name, and her will collapsed. She dropped the gun, falling to her knees. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Before Emma could answer, a shot shattered the window. Maria's eyes went wide and she fell forward, lifeless. Emma screamed, pulling Lily behind her. Through the broken glass, she saw the silhouette of a serpent aiming inside. She fired back, 2 wild shots, just as Cole's motorcycle came crashing through the side door. The noise was deafening. Engine, gunfire, glass breaking. Cole leapt off the bike, firing twice. The serpent dropped. Then he saw Emma. You okay? Maria's gone, she said, voice trembling. Cole froze, grief flashing through his face, but he forced it down. Where's Lily? Here, Emma said, moving aside so he could see the girl clinging to her side. Lily's small voice cracked. Daddy. He ran to her, pulling her into his arms, holding her like she was air. You're safe, baby, I've got you. Emma turned toward the door, more shouting, more boots. They're coming back. Cole's expression hardened. We're ending this. He handed Lily to Emma. Take her to the back corridor. There's an exit through the storage room, go. I'm not leaving you here. Emma, please, he said. I have to stop this. No, she snapped. We stop this. Together. Cole stared at her for a long moment. Then he nodded once. Stay behind me. They moved down the hall. Flames crawled along the ceiling from a grenade blast. 2 serpents came around the corner. Cole dropped one with a clean shot. Emma smashed the second with a fire extinguisher. When the smoke cleared, Lily screamed from behind them. A lone gunman had slipped in through the back door, rifle raised, aimed at the child. Cole spun, but he was too far. The shot rang out. Emma didn't think. She threw herself in front of Lily. Pain ripped through her shoulder. She hit the floor hard. Lily's cry echoed through the chaos. "Emma!" Cole fired again and again until the serpent fell. Then he was on the ground beside her, hands pressing against the wound. "Stay with me, Brooks." "You hear me?" Emma tried to smile. "You never listen when I tell you to calm down." He laughed, broken and desperate. "You talk too much. I learned from you," she whispered. Her eyes started to close. Cole shook her gently. "No. Stay awake. You don't get to check out now." Lily touched Emma's face, crying. "Don't go." Emma's weak voice whispered, "You're safe now, baby. That's all that matters." Outside, sirens wailed in the distance. The serpents retreated, leaving bodies and smoke behind. The Iron Vipers had won. Barely. Luca found Cole cradling Emma, covered in blood but alive. "Ambulance is coming," Luca said. Ryder found Maria's grandson. Alive. They were keeping him in a motel off Highway 9. Cole closed his eyes, tears mixing with soot. "It's over." "No, boss," Luca said. "It's a new start." 2 weeks later. The hospital smelled of disinfectant and new beginnings. Emma opened her eyes to see sunlight filtering through blinds and a familiar small hand holding hers. Lily, smiling shyly, bandaged teddy bear in her lap. "Hey, sunshine," Emma whispered. Lily grinned. "Daddy said you're gonna be okay." Cole stood by the door, clean-shaven, no Cuda, just a plain black t-shirt. He looked like a different man. "You scared the hell out of me," he said. Emma smiled weakly. "That makes us even." He came closer, setting a small silver ring on the table beside her. It was a biker's promise ring, but engraved inside were 2 letters. L+E. "It's not an engagement," he said. "It's a promise. I'm done with war. I'm selling the guns, the routes, everything. We'll still ride, but we'll ride clean." Emma's eyes filled. "You're serious?" "I almost lost both of you," he said quietly. "I'm not wasting what's left of my life on revenge." Lily climbed onto the bed, curling up between them. "Are we a family now?" she asked softly. Cole looked at Emma, then at his daughter. "If she wants to be," he said. Emma squeezed Lily's hand. "I already am." 6 months later. The diner was rebuilt, brighter, cleaner, and busier than ever. The sign out front read, "Lily's Place." Motorcycles lined the parking lot every Saturday, but they weren't a gang anymore. They were volunteers, mechanics, veterans who rode for charity runs. Inside, Emma moved from table to table, smiling as Lily drew pictures by the window. Cole sat at the counter, coffee in hand, watching them both like a man who'd finally found peace. Maria's grandson worked the grill, laughing with Luca. The ghosts of the past had become the roots of something new. Outside, the sound of engines rumbled, not a warning this time, but a heartbeat of belonging. Emma looked up, met Cole's gaze across the room, and smiled. He raised his cup slightly in her direction, and for the first time in a long, long time, everything felt right.